This is 55 TV, and we're with Paul Robinson. Talk to me about the exhibition you've got coming up, and you're back in London. You come here quite a lot.
Yeah, I come here about once a month just to see clients, and now I have a lot of friends here, so I love coming here. But and I've shown here probably about 6 or 7 times. So this is my new exhibition. It's called REDACTED. It's sort of all about colors and architecture and people, favorite cities, all brought together on one frame. It's multiple exposures basically, but outside of the camera. I layer everything by hand on different transparencies and reshoot them every time I add a new layer. So.
Do you produce your work in LA, or do you go between several cities?
Well, I travel a lot. Like all the elements come from different cities, and then I bring them all home. But most of it is actually put together in Los Angeles, and a lot of the portrait part of it, or the human element of it, is shot in Los Angeles.
Okay. You obviously travel quite a lot. You see different cultures coming from LA. I mean, coming to London a lot. How is this translation for you?
Actually, London to me seems like sort of a hybrid between LA and New York, really. I mean, it's spread out like LA, but it still has that city, kind of crazy city feel that New York has, and multicultural also.
Yeah, sure, I can see that actually now being in LA. LA is very sparse, and how is it? Because the communication in London is everyone's on top of each other. And in LA, people aren't. Everyone's in cars. How is this for you, the translation?
Actually, I love it. I love both. I love being in my car, to tell you the truth, in LA, and being able to just jump and go anywhere I want, when I want to go. And because LA is so spread out, most people sort of stay in their own area. So when I come here, I really like to explore and wander around and walk as much as possible, and be above ground, so I don't take the tube unless I'm in a hurry. Like I just try and walk if I have the time. Because then, you learn the city so much better that way.
Sure. Okay, then let's talk about your history as a photographer. So you first started out, you're self-taught, and you started out in fashion, funny enough, which is difficult industry to be in at the best of times. How is this for you, and why fashion?
It really started out when I was in high school, and I was just sort of obsessed with certain fashion ads. And so anytime I had an assignment in my photography class in high school, I would always, sort of do my version of whatever ad, like the Brooke Shield, Calvin Klein ads or stuff like that. And then I saw that the movie The Eyes of Laura Mars, and Helmut Newton did a lot of the photos in it, and it just blew me away. And I was like, I have to do that. That's what I'm going to do. And so I just decided in my junior year in college I was going to go to Paris and see what I could do. And I really kind of lucked out, because a friend of mine who was a model came with me, and the second day we were there, he went into the agency and he took my portfolio, and they asked me if I wanted to shoot, their models for them, and it all went from there.
Right, great. And how long were you in Paris for?
6 months.
Right.
And then came back, still went back to school, but I never stopped shooting the whole time I was there. And then I was a history major in college, but basically never stopped working as a photographer, and kept going in and out of fashion and celebrity portraits and movie stills, and then the fine arts thing started.
So you then went into movie stills and celebrity work. How was this? 'Cause this is back at your home, so it must have been a bit more comfortable, and you had your surroundings around you.
Yeah, and I was working with a lot of celebrities, and it just so happened that I became friends with a lot of them. So all the projects I would do for myself or for other magazines, they would always be in them. And so we started sparking up a friendship. And then it went into all my fine art work too. Like I would keep shooting all the same people, because I realized that, I was able to get the most out of the people I knew, because we were so comfortable with each other. So I reuse a lot of my friends.
Okay. What brought on you to move into fine art? And do you still shoot like more commercial stuff, or is it really fine art stuff you concentrate on all the time now?
I rarely shoot commercially anymore. I mean, every once in a while someone will offer me a campaign or something like that, which is great, because I still love to do it, but I really can't spend the time to go look for the jobs commercially. But I love when people come at me and say, hey, do you want to do our shoe campaign or our this or that? And it's fantastic. But the fine art thing, I mean, honestly, really, really, really came from having in my head that that exhibition in the eyes of Laura Mars.
Right.
It really did. I kept
Right.
thinking about that. I want to have an exhibition just like that. And I lucked out because when I had my first exhibition, my manager was able to get Absolute to sponsor me, and which they ended up sponsoring me for a long time. And I did an Absolute ad, which was one of the first things. That was the other thing that I really, really loved, were all the Absolute ads back in, God, it must have been the 80s, in the early 90s. And so I got to do one of those, and it was great. That just kind of started the fine art thing, and then I was stuck. I just didn't want to do anything else.
Great. We would highly recommend you to see The Eyes of Laura Marsh, because it's a really inspiring film creatively, and you'll obviously pick up a lot of your work. I mean, Helmut Newnes is just a legend to us, and it's a great inspiration, isn't he?
Absolutely, and I can still see a lot of his influence in my work now, even though I don't really shoot fashion so much anymore, and a lot of his stuff was fashion. I can definitely see his influence in the new stuff, for
Great.
sure.
This is 55 to see. It's great to meet you, Paul. We'll see you next week. Good luck with the show. You'll catch us all over London for the next 2 weeks. 55 TV.